Welcome, everyone, to the November 10th, 2022 meeting of the Delaware County Board of Elections. No.
That was been on our minds.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, you're right. Well, and the board, well, let's try the Board of Commissioners. Yeah.
Once you have them lead the pledge.
Well, I am. That's what I'm getting to. Yeah. Now, you must wait until you're called upon. No.
Good job.
No. I would like to have Director Carla Herron please lead us in the pledge. Thank you, Director Herron of the Board of Elections. I am Barb Lewis, President of the County Commissioners. To my right is our Vice President, Jeff Benton. To my left, fellow Commissioner Gary Merrill. Our Deputy is Administrator Dawn Houston, and our clerks, Jennifer Walraven and Sarah DeNovo. We can begin.
Resolution number 22-982, in the matter of approving the electronic record of proceedings from regular meeting held November 7th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 22-982. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
We have no public comment this morning. Resolution number 22-983, in the matter of approving purchase orders, then and now certificates and payments of warrants and batch number CMA-PR 1109.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 22-983. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 22-984, in the matter of noticing participation of the Delaware County Board of Commissioners in the meeting of the Joint Board of the Delaware County, Franklin County, and Licking County Boards of Commissioners to address a drainage petition for the Cook Tri-County watershed.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 22-984. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 22-985, in the matter of approving a scrap tire removal certification and consent form.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 22-985. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Next, we would like to hear from Judge Gormley.
Welcome, Judge.
Thank you. Well, we appreciate so much this opportunity to publicly recognize and thank longtime Administrative Assistant Joyce Stimmel for her service in 2 Delaware County offices. She provided secretarial support for about 12 years in the County Prosecuting Attorney's Office under longtime Prosecuting Attorney Duncan Whitney. Joyce was already on the staff there when I joined that office in 1993 as a 28-year-old assistant prosecutor. Though she was not much older than me, she clearly knew the ropes and was a reliable helper to me and everyone else in that office during her lengthy service there. And then when Prosecutor Whitney became Judge Whitney in 2003, Joyce made a similar transition from the prosecutor's office to the Common Pleas Court. She has now served there for nearly 20 years, where she worked for 12 years under Judge Whitney, and now for all 8 years of my time as a judge at the Common Pleas level. Joyce's total time in public service here in the county has added up to about 32 years. Throughout that time, she has been a reliable colleague, someone who is always the epitome of professionalism in her oral and written communications, and a fount of knowledge for local attorneys in the offices where she has worked and in the local legal community. She is never angry, is never rattled by the sometimes bizarre or troubling letters or phone calls that can come into an office like mine, and has always been a role model for her coworkers. She is adored by her colleagues, and not just because she often brings in homemade baked goods and other edible treats to share with the rest of us. We will miss her constant smile and her decades of experience, but we hope that many years of retirement bliss now lie ahead for her. Thank you, Joyce, for your many years of public service, and best wishes to you as you start this next phase of your life.
Oh, thank you very much, Judge. Would anyone else like to speak? Any of the other judges? Judge? Joyce? Okay, commissioners?
Yeah, I'll make a
Sure.
couple comments. First of all, Judge, are you going to miss the baked goods or the smile more? You're 32 years of service, and when I've run into you, you're always smiling, as you did just a moment ago when you were asked to speak. I think you will be missed. You're a great part of our county, and God bless you, and I wish you the best in retirement.
Yeah, again, congratulations. Thanks for the 32 years. If you're going to take up golf during retirement, that isn't going to guarantee much smiling, so I wouldn't recommend that. But anyway, thank you very much for all those years.
Thank you so much, Joyce, too. I mean, that's, oh my gosh, the service in different offices and to do everything so well in those different offices. And I mean, these are high-pressure situations that I'm sure you were confronted with many times. And thank you. You will definitely be missed. And we do have a certificate. So.
All right. Jane, were you going to get the picture?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Did we want to do anything with the staff? Taller folks in back, if you can. Thank you.
How are you, Monty? Good, thanks.
You're not just going to call, you just answer.
Just pulled into, so.
I know, it must be disconnected, or it must be loose. I'll get under there.
Good to see you.
Yeah, you know, whatever I can do.
Figure it out.
Item number 7, we have an accommodation from the Board of Elections.
Hello, Wendell.
Hi, Wendell.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
It's my pleasure.
Well, Commissioners, it's good to see you. Steve Kuckler, board member at the Delaware County Board of Elections. Thanks for making time today. We obviously have Carla Herron, our director, and Anthony Sadie, our deputy. One of the things we wanted to do today is recognize, so Wendell Wheeler is a stalwart here in the city of Delaware and Delaware County. Obviously, you know, now Carolyn's hopefully not listening, but probably the best mayor, right, of all times, right? We'll say this, probably say the same thing about Carolyn. Probably we have to do this someday, Wendell. But the reality is a great man. Just as a side note, I saw Dean Stelzer back there, who was our longtime finance director at the city, And we had some good times with Dean, and we were just joking about dealing with the budgets at the city and so forth. But today, we wanted to recognize people and recognize Wendell specifically for an individual, despite being on council, being a mayor, and then after he retired as being the mayor of the city of Delaware, really did a great job and volunteered his time, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours for decades up at the Board of Elections. Going back to when it was counting punch cards and you and Judge Shaw sitting at the same table trying to determine votes. Really been a great asset to all of us at the Board of Elections. You know, we have a lot of great volunteers that help us out. Obviously, Commissioner Merrill, you've helped out. Our prosecutor, we had a number of judges help out the other night. But Wendell was one of those individuals that for years, for decades, right? I think you probably counted Rutherford B. Hayes' ballot. But, so we just wanted to read this commendation. Carla, I don't know if Anthony, if you guys have anything else to add on to this. But we just wanted to recognize him in front of the commissioners for all the great work he's done as a volunteer up at the Board of Elections. So I'll perhaps just read that if it's
Sure,
okay,
that'd be
Chair.
great.
The Delaware County Board of Elections has on this day awarded a commendation to the Honorable Wendell Wheeler for his exceptional volunteer service to the voters of Delaware County on election night and his commitment to the constituents of the same county in the offices of mayor and vice mayor. And it's signed by Carla, Anthony, and then all the board members. So we just wanted to take a little time, recognize Wendell for all of his years of service to the Board of Elections. And I don't know if, Wendell, you'd probably like to say a few things.
Sure.
Well,
Sure, Wendell.
congratulations to Barb for re-election.
Oh, thank you, Wendell. You're always on top of everything.
And I'd like to say that we have 3 really good county commissioners. And you're looking out for a good community, a good county, and the community is giving back to you everything that you need. And that you are being good stewards with our money. And as I look around the courthouse today, this is an outstanding building.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Not
you.
been in here since the changes, but it's been a good time. I've dedicated my time before I moved to Delaware County into the political arena, and I going way back to John Ashbrook. You may remember him. I was a big supporter of his in Licking County, and when I moved to Delaware County, I wanted to continue the same thing, and that's all I've done since I've been here, since '75.
Oh, gosh, Wendell. Commissioner, who wants to go first?
Yeah, Wendell, thank you sincerely for literally decades of service to our community, whether it's at the Board of Elections or the city of Delaware or Grady. I mean, all your years at Grady, the best
33.
local hospital. So I want to thank you for all that and wish you the best. And again, Delaware is a better place because of your leadership and all those that you worked with, and the future is very bright. So thank you.
Commissioner Merrill?
And it's going to be hard not to be redundant because everything Commissioner Benton just said, I would have also said. But when I think of you, I think of the word service. I'm privileged that we will run into each other at various places, whether it's Corner Cafe or at some event, and you're still visible, you're still involved, and that's what makes you a great part of this county and the city, and you'll always be mayor to me. And God bless you, and I can't say enough good things about you, and people like you is what makes this the county we're privileged to live in. And I can't think of a better person to be acknowledged today by the Board of Elections than you.
Thank you.
Oh, and we're so happy to be here as we all recognize you, Wendell. You have a lifetime of service, and then hear all the elected positions that you've held, and I still see you at meetings today, and then to volunteer at the Board of Elections and do all that you have done there. I mean, it's just incredible. I'm so thankful to the board for recognizing you and just allowing us to take part in that recognition. And God bless you too and your family, Wendell.
Thank you.
And I do remember John Ashbrook. When I was 16, that was my first summer job, working for him.
Very nice guy.
Steve may want to read did you want to read that, Steve?
I think he did.
He did read everything else?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
You want a
yeah.
picture?
But we would like a picture,
Yeah, it'd be
if
great.
that, if we could.
Let us take it here.
Yes, yes. Either side, Steve?
Dean, get up here, Judge.
All right. If I were just a foot taller, right? Over here in 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. And I'm going to, if you'll just stay at my. As I walk away, right?
Oh, right here.
Is that
Yes,
it?
I want to do just a little bit of a height one with you guys so I can see better. All right, in 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, my gosh.
Thank you, Wendell.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Another one of your beautiful.
Make sure you're muted.
See, Judge.
That's okay. Not all the good.
Yeah.
Do we know it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sure, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Great idea.
Well, I miss all of you.
And we are very fortunate to have our director and deputy director of the Board of Elections give us a little update, and it's just 2 days after the election. So that's a pretty quick update.
Okay, we'll move on to item number 8. Resolution number 22-986, in the matter of authorizing the use of procurement card for the Board of Elections.
So moved.
Second, discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 22-986. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number
Oh,
22-9.
Sarah, we're going to go ahead, they're going to give us a little update
These are their items.
We have a lot,
Yes.
sorry.
The update's later on the agenda.
later on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Really?
Got a whole list of things.
Yeah,
Okay.
we've been saving up for a few weeks.
Okay, yeah, all right, if you want, okay, I guess it won't take too long. I hate to,
Resolution number 22-987, and the matter of approving the Second Amendment to the Master Agreement Purchase of Voting System entered into by and between RBM Consulting LLC and the Board of Commissioners of Delaware County, Ohio, for and on behalf of Delaware County Board of Elections.
So moved.
Second.
discussion, vote.
Unless you had something?
Any
No, this is
explanation?
just, this
Yeah.
is, I'm sorry, Anthony Sadie, Deputy Director from the Board of Elections. This was, RBM is increasing their daily rate for site support from $14.75 a day to $15.95 a day. Our prosecutor's office felt that our current contract didn't include a part for that increase to take place, so they drafted this amendment for
Okay, sure.
that increased daily rate.
Vote, please.
Vote on motion 22-987. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 22-988, in the matter of approving a supplemental appropriations for the Board of Elections.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
We did not expect to have 3 countywide elections this year, or to redistrict multiple times this year, or to pay out some staff that have exited our office. So we are humbly asking for some additional funds in order to cover payroll for the rest of the year.
As I understand it, the general, or the reimbursement from the state for the 3rd election was already received and put in the general fund. It covers most of this.
That is correct, yes.
Yeah, I think that's an important point. Then also, the last category there, election and settlement services, what is that?
That is poll workers. Yeah, most of our poll workers that are not on payroll, they get paid out of that line.
Okay.
Now, the money received from the state, did it quite cover all this? Because the theory was it would cover the August election.
It would, yes, exactly, cover the odds. From the state, we received about $460,000.
Okay, any other questions, comments? Vote, please.
Vote on motion 22-988. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
And now time for the election
Now,
update.
we have the update.
Yeah, Commissioners, Steve Cuckler, Board Member, Delaware County Board of Elections. Here to just give you all a quick update. We can get into the latest data and so forth. Carla and Anthony can update you on that, but overall, Delaware County's Board of Elections process was superior, best in the state, best in the nation, in terms of administration and efficiency. And really, from that standpoint, no issues, no problems whatsoever. We had, nearly 1,000 poll workers out there working. We had observers from the Democrat Party, from the Republican Party at various locations, no issues. We had poll observers from out of state at our 30-day early in-person voting offices up at the Board of Elections. No issues there. And so overall, fantastic job from the Board of Elections, the staff, and all the volunteers, people like Wendell, et cetera, just, really class above. So I just want to kind of give you that 10,000-foot view. And I think you have kind of the latest data there. I didn't print off my sheet with that, if you want to go over that, Carla.
Thank you, Steve.
Carla Herron, Director of the Board of Elections. Good morning. You probably already know a lot of these totals, but we'll go ahead and give you an update. We have currently about 100, in round numbers, 157,000 registered voters, and we had a 61% turnout, and it was nearly 97,000 folks voted. Anthony and I looked back in the past, and even though the percentage was lower than some other elections, there was only 2 other elections that voted more people in Delaware County on Election Day. We voted over 61,000 people on Election Day.
On Election Day.
Even though absentee voting was up, and the number of people that voted prior to Election Day, 35,355. Now, we still have absentee ballots that, as long as they were postmarked, the day before will be coming in. We had over 2,000 outstanding ballots going into Election Day. They have 10 days to come back to the office. We did not, however, have any races that were close enough to potentially be overturned. We will be doing an audit post-election. But I'd like to thank you, Commissioner Merrill, for working. I know it was a long day, 16-plus hours.
It was a long day.
As Steve said, Member Steve said, Cuckler said, that we have so many people that help us and make us successful, but we don't forget that because of you, commissioners, you make sure we have the resources and the support to do it. And we're very aware of that, and we tell people all the time, as Anthony, I know, would agree. So thank you for that, because we couldn't do it without your support. And we have so many seasonal staff that comes in and work just endlessly. They're retired people. They don't need a job. They don't need any money, and they come in hours. We had one seasonal staff member that said, it's a sweatshop, and I haven't seen the light of day. And who does that with a smile,
Yeah.
and comes back But they do, and they come back every day. We had over 40 veterans that stepped forward to help us this time. We had 30 attorneys. We had our prosecutor working on election night, but so many. I don't want to forget Cy. He tracks, Cy Keeley, I think he's here. He tracks the provisionals. I don't want to leave anyone out, so I probably should stop. But, you know, it's definitely not us. It's everyone that supports us. Anthony, you have anything to add?
No, I have nothing to add. Thank you, Val. It was very successful.
And we're happy
Very
to
proud.
answer any questions about the election if you would like, if you have any.
Commissioner Merrill?
I just want to say, it is a long day to work the polls, but I will tell you this, I always end the day, maybe tired, maybe a little sleepy, but I always feel really good and really honored that this is one of the things we can do in our country that really separates us from a lot of the other countries in this democracy, a word that's been misused lately by some people. But I think what I wanted to say here, my brief comments is, as an elected, I'm privileged to serve, but all these VLMs out there that do such a terrific job at every one of these locations, they're the ones that make it work. And in my location, Bill and Sherry Brown I'm prejudiced. And they're down in Amsterdam on vacation. They left the next morning. And what a terrific job. And I'm going to guess they're emblematic of all the other locations. So, and I don't know them by name, but I do know the ones at my site, at Press Church and Powell. And those are the people 2-3 times a year that have to put it all together and make sure it all works, and that we, as we sit around hoping, crossing our fingers, that we're going to balance at the end of the evening so we can leave. They're the ones that make it happen. I just think it's important maybe make a shout out for that group. And then, of course, every poll worker that's involved. The R's and the D's at our location, we get along fantastically. And I think that's true at probably all the locations. And it's such an honor to serve. And no one has better Board of Elections employees and servants than we have in Delaware County. Arizona and Nevada could take lessons from us. And I just felt that needs to be said. So I wanted to say that.
Commissioner, thank you. And as far as the VLM, which is Voting Location Manager, we will give another shout out to Matt Dick, who was the Voting Location Manager at Delaware Christian. They had a fire alarm that was pulled, and the sheriff was there and loudly said, "This is not a drill. You're to evacuate the building immediately." He handled it with grace. He directed the people to get the ballots, all the pertinent, items that needed to be collected to make sure that he secured our election. And it was someone accidentally pulled the alarm, but we had a chance to see them in action, and they did everything perfectly.
And not a single voter was interrupted or denied their right or anything from the whole process.
Oh, my gosh. What you do is amazing, under your leadership, both of you. I mean, you have done
And the board.
and of course, the board. But, my gosh, we're so proud of you. And what Commissioner Merrill said and Board Member Steve, too. I mean, it is so true that, you're the best, just the absolute best in the nation.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
if you're the best in the nation, what's the next goal? Best in the world?
I think we're both
can
very
strive for
comfortable
that.
where we are.
Yeah, please, stay here. We need
Yeah.
the best in the nation here.
Yeah, well, thank you. Again, it gives me great comfort. I'm sure my fellow commissioners would agree, great comfort that we can
Yes.
rely on
Right.
our Board of Elections to do an outstanding job year after year after year. And 3 times this year, you just had to
It's
keep
quite
practicing.
humbling. Oh, thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. It was humbling to watch our board members sit there and nearly 200 ballots to have to adjudicate and look at. And, knowing that our board is there for the right reason, just to make sure the elections are pure and everything is accurate. We're really lucky to work for 4 board members, 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats. The current board we have, that's a lot of the reason. And to watch that they're there just to do the right thing is really humbling to watch and exciting, and at the same time to work for our board.
Yeah, and it's interesting, Commissioner Merrill alluded to it, that there's states out there that still have a third of their ballots to count. You know, you just shake your head. You know, here we were done at midnight statewide and completely counted. And then there's multiple states out there that still don't have it done 2 days later, so. But anyway, congratulations and thank you.
Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you. I hope you can go home and get some sleep
Yeah.
soon. Yeah.
Take care, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor.
Wendell.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Congratulations to everybody.
Thank you. Take care. Okay.
Item number 12, resolution number 22-989, in the matter of approving a supplemental appropriation for the sheriff's office.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Dean Stelzer, Delaware County Sheriff's Department. This supplemental is for prisoner transport. It's kind of a unknown budget amount, just depends. If we have to transport a lot of prisoners out of state, and this year up a little bit, so this should get us through the remainder of the year. I will note that we are incurring a fair amount of overtime. We currently have a prisoner down in one of Columbus hospitals, and we're incurring quite a bit of overtime. It has to be monitored 24/7 with a couple deputies, but our budget should be able to handle that.
As I read these transport reports, I mean, it's amazing where people end up,
Yeah.
even in other nations sometimes. And so you have to go get them.
That's right.
Oh, my gosh. Vote, please.
Vote on motion 22-989. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Thank you,
Resolution
Dean.
number 22-990, in the matter of approving a transfer of appropriation for the regional sewer district.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Morning, Commissioners. Eric McPeak, Deputy Director, Sewer District. This is for transfer of appropriations to cover the cost of polymer, one of the chemicals that we use in our treatment process. The bids for these go out annually, and last year's bids that came in and after budgeting season were quite a bit higher per gallon than we anticipated. We tried to curb that this year, and we're trying to get a multi-year agreement with an elevator and cost based on the commercial price index, so we can kind of avoid this. But we were able to transfer out of, some things that we can push off till next year in order to handle this.
Okay. Vote, please.
Vote on motion 22-990. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 22-991, and the matter of setting the date and time to receive qualifications for a construction manager at risk for the Alum Creek Water Reclamation Facility Post-Treatment Improvements Project for the Regional Sewer District.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
So we're at 30% design with this project, and we're going to go out for a construction manager at risk. This is for qualifications for that. This process has helped us, especially with delays in equipment. We can design that stuff first, order it, and then it doesn't hold up the contractor when they're on site. We have plenty of time to get it there. So we're going to start that process. These are due December 13th, and I think we're trying to award by February.
Okay. Vote, please.
Vote on motion 22-991. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Thanks.
Thank
Resolution
you.
number 22-992, in the matter of approving a supplemental appropriation for the 2022 HSIP DEL-US 36-19.93 Carter's Corner Intersection Improvement Project.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Morning, Rob Riley, Chief Deputy Engineer. This action would provide the authority to expend the grant funds that we've received for this project through ODOT. These are federal highway safety funds being used on this project.
Okay.
When's it gonna be done, Rob?
The project's very close to being done right now. It's Route 36 is back open to two-way traffic. I would say probably sometime in the next couple of weeks, they'll finish up all the roadside and incidental grading.
Great.
Good,
Yeah, getting
good.
that done before the winter. Yeah. Vote, please.
Vote on motion 22-992. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 22-993, and the matter of approving amendment number 2 to the professional services agreement for construction monitoring, material testing, and engineering services.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
We're asking for your approval for this amendment to the contract with DLZ This contract was originally approved in 2018 and then was modified in 2020. This would be the second amendment to that to extend it for another 2-year term. We worked with DLZ on the construction, inspection, material testing, and engineering, both for our basically our capital projects as well as development-related projects. So new subdivisions, new streets, going in for subdivisions. DLZ performs the material testing and some of the construction monitoring for that work. And so a good chunk of this contract actually is paid for by the developers of those projects. We recoup the cost through our inspection fees on those projects.
Okay. Vote, please.
Vote on motion 22-993. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rob.
Resolution number 22-994, in the matter of appointing members to the Delaware County Board of Developmental Disabilities.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion?
No Jane
I think.
or Joan?
I will be covering Jane's
I
item.
see. Clerk Walraven.
The board is reappointing Theodore Kleck, and Kimberly Price will be a new member to the board.
Okay. Both are excellent. Mr. Kleckner has served before, and so it's a reappointment. And Kim Puri has a very interesting background, helping challenged kids who live in the Hilltop area. And her school she teaches there, and her school has won several awards statewide. She'll do a great job, too.
Mr. Lewis, I'd like to just add that we had other good candidates
Yes,
as well.
we did.
And unfortunately, sometimes we have to make choices, but it's always great to have good choices in our county to choose from, and another example this time. And I just hope they continue to look at other opportunities.
Yes,
Yep.
absolutely. Vote, please.
Vote on motion 22-994. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 22-995, in the matter of delegating authority to the county administrator and other staff for certain administrative matters.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dawn Houston, Deputy Administrator, and your approval of this resolution would allow the Deputy County Administrator, General Counsel, the ability to carry out the administrative functions identified in Section 1 of the resolution, and it would be in the absence of the County Administrator and the Deputy County Administrator, Administrative Services Director. So I recommend your approval.
All righty. Any questions, comments? Vote, please.
Vote on motion 22-995. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Brings us to administrative reports.
And I have nothing to report. Thank you.
Commissioner Merrill.
Well, we've already talked about the election, and so I don't want to be repetitive, but our particular location, it was steady all day. We might have had 2 half-hour lulls, but other than that, we never had really long lines, but we were constantly busy. So it just works out that way. You really can't control when the voters walk in, but it was a great day. And then, of course, last night we had Sunbury Chamber of Commerce had their annual dinner, which Commissioner Benton and I attended, as well as several other electeds were there. And a good event, and Sunbury Chamber does a great job, and I think we've all been involved in many of their events over the past, so, and that's really all I have today.
Commissioner Benton.
Just a couple other things. Went to the OWU, High Wesleyan's Economic Forecast Forum on Monday evening. And that was very interesting because, as we all know, economics are kind of in the forefront these days with all the international, national, and local issues going on. One thing that was interesting was Bill Lafayette, who heads up Regionomics, probably the most respected local economic advisor, his presentation was exclusively on Intel, the impact of Intel in the region.
Oh, boy.
And he really understands that. It really points out that that's going to be huge, period, just for the whole region and even the state. So, again, very interesting. I got a Main Street assessment lunch today. I'll get an update on Delaware's downtown. Veterans Day celebrations.
Yeah, forgot that.
breakfast. Yeah, breakfast is tomorrow morning, and then the ceremony out here, I think at 11 is the ceremony. And I want to congratulate fellow Commissioner Barb Lewis on her election.
Oh, thank you.
So, and looking
Thank
forward to working with Commissioner Lewis and of course Commissioner Merrill as well for the next 4 years. So
Well,
congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. I'm very honored to have been reelected by our voters, and we'll really look forward to working with everyone. I must say, our staff is so outstanding. They really make things hum and carry out so much of what is done in this county for our citizens. It's just wonderful to work with, and look forward to another 4 years. And that is it. We do have need for executive session.
We do.
You may want to recess till 2:30? Do you?
I think we're going to go into we can do some stuff in executive.
Oh, we do have some other stuff to do?
Unrelated.
We have one item
Okay.
Yeah.
in addition to the 10:30.
Resolution number 22-996, in the matter of adjourning into executive session for consideration of employment and compensation of a public employee or public official and confidential information related to economic development.
So,
Second.
Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 22-996. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
We're now recessed